Actually, we were just talking that I should practice and rehearse a little bit this, because sometimes we go Star West, Star East, which one it's starting to blend together. I'm just checking that we are live, that we are having signal, because sometimes we get issues with this situation. If we are not live, we will stream it later. If you're live, say something, ping me, and if you're seeing us. So, we are live. Yes, we are. I got a message right away. Cool. I got shivers. Isn't it cool? So, we're streaming from Orlando, Florida. This is not yet the welcome reception that you're going to see. I have our first friend that is going to be here sharing a little bit about conferences, what's the deal with you, and what's the situation here at the conference, and what do you do, and what cool things are happening. So, our amigo Chris. Chris, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Very good. Would you mind introducing yourself to the audience and letting them know who you are, what do you do, and what makes you special?
Yeah. So I'm Chris Harbert. I'm founder and CEO of Testery. Testery is a test orchestration platform. And what makes our platform special is we're really good at running tests quickly and reliably across a lot of environments and platforms for teams that have more complex testing needs.
Okay, just mic closer. And what makes it special? What is different from your platform that is better or that the audience should?
Yeah, so at some point as you start to get larger test suites and you need to deploy them against more and more environments, it becomes a larger engineering challenge to get the tests to run reliably at scale. And so our platform does that very efficiently and makes it so that you can run hundreds or even thousands of concurrent tests if needed.
What are the problems that usually teams face into when they are trying to run these massive test suites that you are fixing? What are your cool items?
Yeah. So I think one of the challenges that people have is just what set of tests do you run against which environment at which point in time. And so when you have multiple versions of the software getting deployed to different environments prior to merging the code, it can become a challenge to know which version of the test you need to run. Do you want to run full regression? Do you just want to run smoke tests? Do you want to run tests that are more or less likely to fail based on whatever code is changing? And we have a lot of nice functionality around being able to run those tests quickly and reliably when you need to.
Yeah, those can be common problems, sadly. Many of us have walked into. Give a note, let us a comment if you have experienced something like that. And it's really awesome, Chris, that these solutions, is there an option for the audience if they want to try it, if they want to learn more about it? What's the deal?
Yeah, so our website is testery.com. You can just go there and check us out. And we do have a growth plan where you can just sign up for no cost and then
no
try
cost,
it out.
gratis. We like that, right?
Yeah.
And okay, so this is not only about Testery. I also want to know and learn a little bit about you, about the experience.
Mm-hmm.
We are at StarEast. I had to always think of a little bit about before I say it, because we mix it: StarEast, Star West, Star. And so, Chris, how many times have you been at Star, whatever?
Yeah, I'm not even sure, to be honest. I think this is my third or fourth StarEast. I've been to Star West, I think, once.
So you have like 5 in total with this one?
I think so, yeah.
And out of those experiences, what is your participation when you have been in the past Star conferences?
Yeah, so I've been a speaker before. I've also just come as an attendee. Mm-hmm. I think it's helpful to do both. So if you haven't spoken before, speaking at a conference is definitely a good experience. It's a great way to meet people. One of my favorite things about speaking at conferences is actually meeting the other speakers and getting to spend time with them.
Yeah, actually, that's how I met him. Several Star conferences before.
Yep.
We were like having good time. We had dinner, I think more than once together. And I'm like, they start to blend to each other of the events.
Yeah.
And it's awesome that you get to talk to the presenters and know the attendees.
Yeah, and the more times you do it, the more you find you just show up and you happen to know a lot of people. And so as I was walking in, bumped into several people that I knew already. Mm-hmm. And so it's really great to come back and see old friends.
I start to call it like it becomes the conference family that you have all over the place. Because yes, you start to walk into suddenly like, of course, you see Tariq King all over the place, and any conference that you go, there's going to be Tariq, or tomorrow is going to be Donna Sarkar, that who as well you walk into in every conference. But as well, not only like the big names, right? You get to talk, and especially because you are providing services, you get to talk with the end users, right? You get to talk to the people. Any interesting findings on those conferences where you get to talk to like who is going to be using the platform?
Yeah, I think one of the most interesting things is just how much the industry has been changing over the last few years. Uh, you know, if you came here maybe 3 or 4 years ago, there might have been one vendor that was talking about AI functionality.
AI. Okay, it
Maybe one.
was, let me see, almost 10 minutes that we lasted without talking about AI.
Yeah.
It's going to be a record now.
Yeah, I mean it's bound to happen, right? And so we've seen AI-driven test orchestration. We've seen AI test authoring come up, and so there are a lot of interesting topics around it, and you really can't help but need to stay on top of those changes in order to know what's happening in our industry and to stay relevant.
Yeah, and many of these things you will most probably learn it from the audience, the people attending the conference. Some others are the presenters, bringing some crazy ideas and things that they did. Me, myself, I personally have been already mind blown once or twice here that I'm like, you're doing what with what? And Cursor can do what? Really? And all these solutions probably give you some leverage, some other ideas. And silly question is, by any chance, Testery already like leveraging some AI? Are you starting to look into?
Yeah. Yeah, so part of how we leverage AI, we have the ability to analyze test results and provide recommendations for how to fix the tests. We also incorporate some nice logic for determining what tests to run. And then once you analyze an individual test, we can create a summary of the test results for an entire test run.
Ah, that's a very interesting
Yeah.
implementation. Especially you got me on the fix the tests. That's a big pain. That's a big situation that often is like, oh, what happened? Why are you crying? Or like with children, yeah. Why are you crying? What do you have?
Yeah, and the problem we were trying to solve there, I started the company because I was a director of quality assurance. This was 8 years ago. And I remember one of the activities we did quite often was you would look at all of the failing tests, and it might be 5% test failures, it might be 1%, it doesn't matter what the percentage was. You might have to work through dozens or even hundreds of failed tests and figure out why are they each failing, and then you report an issue, whether it's a bug fix or whether it's needing to update the test. And so we decided to leverage AI to solve that problem, so that when you have 100 failing tests, we'll go and identify the root cause of failure for each of the 100 tests, and then we'll aggregate those test failures up so that you get the 3 or 4 reasons why the tests are failing. So perfect example of that would be if you change the login button, and now all of a sudden you have 1,000 tests failing because the login button changed.
Classic, yeah.
Yeah, that's only one cause of test failure, but it might impact hundreds or thousands of tests.
No, it's a classic example that you, and on that critical element, and you guarantee that you'll break everything.
Yeah, and so we're able to leverage AI to determine that that's why the test is failing. And then when you do the review, you can actually create a Jira ticket using our Jira integration directly from that root cause analysis.
Huh.
And then it will link the Jira ticket to that root cause. So this ticket was created because the login button changed, and that these are the hundreds or thousands of tests you're going to fix when you fix the Jira ticket.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
It's very dynamic. And now back again to what we were talking about, the conferences. Does this relate to some of your past presentations? Are you going to be presenting?
Yeah, so when I present at conferences, a lot of times I don't highlight the product so much because people like to hear the different topics.
It's not a product presentation, yeah.
Yeah, and so I've done presentations on test orchestration. So what does it take to scale tests quickly and reliably, which ultimately is what Testery is all
At the
about.
end.
I've also done good presentation on what are the common causes of test failures. So that's not really about the testery product, but having been in the industry for
It's your
2 decades
expertise.
now, I've collected a healthy list of what are all of the common reasons that tests fail. Happy to share that with anyone in the audience here. So if you reach out to me, I can send, I forget the number, I think we had 12 or 14 common causes of failure. And just give you an example, time zones is one of them. So
Oh yeah.
I think a lot of us who've been around a while, we've experienced the tests that pass 4 hours out of the day and then fail the remaining 20 hours of the day. And one of the reasons that that could be is because it's actually tomorrow. If you go
Some other place
in
or
Europe, it could be tomorrow, whereas here it's today, and that can actually cause test failures. So there's a lot of other good causes of test failures that are part of that presentation. But that's just an example of the kind of thing I like to present at conferences.
yeah. No, and it's really valid because you are developing, you are creating the solution, and it's totally normal because would you go to a presentation that is only about a tool or a company, unless it's, I don't know, Apple or something that, oh my God, I want the new iPhone, right? But hopefully one day it will be there for you. But it's better to teach the people of the need, of the problems and the situations that you are already solving. I think it's really cool that you're like, okay, we help you on that, but if you want to find another way, I'm teaching you what is the situation and what helping more than selling, because yeah, that's really, really important from a pro in the field.
Yeah, and I think for anyone who's out there who's interested in building a product, you can't build a product that's relevant without staying on top of the latest information of what's happening in your industry. And you
Being
can't,
here,
yeah, and you can't build a product that's relevant without being a thought leader, and you can't be a thought leader without pushing yourself to be a presenter.
yeah,
And so that's part of why I like to do it. My talks don't get accepted if they're not relevant and if they're not things that people want to hear about.
yeah.
And so just the act of applying to speak at a conference can push you to develop better content to stay more relevant in the industry.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's something that being here, and it's a great add-on that you're saying, like, come to present, come with your idea, be brave enough to become a thought leader, not just because you have thoughts that no. You got to work it a little bit, like Chris, and share, get some insights, because that's a big one that here at conferences, you will get overloaded. We just had a lunch earlier today where we were getting some ideas, some insights, and it was flowing. It was madness. And especially when you put some testers or thought leaders, as you were referring, it gets weird. It's just like you just need to pour some beer on top of all of them so that the things start to flow even worse. But it's lots of fun, and I'm really happy that you come as well to kind of like, it's a win-win, right? You provide to the community brings back, you get to know the other thought leaders. And speaking of the new thoughts and the new things, I almost know the answer, but what do you foresee in this StarEast 2025 that is going to be like something outstanding? I know it's going to be related to AI, but I want to know some specifics from your perspective.
Yeah, so are you asking me to predict which presentation is going to be the best
What do you
or
look
which
forward
keynote?
more to learn about?
Yeah.
New things that are popped up?
Yeah,
Do you think that the community will tell you something cool this time?
yeah. I mean, I think right now, I know we were timing how long it took to get to the AI topic,
Now I'm
but
pushing it.
but really the thing everybody needs to know about AI today is what's real and can be used in a practical, real-world scenario, and what's still an emerging idea. And even at a conference, you wouldn't come to a conference if you weren't going to hear the emerging ideas. So there will be emerging ideas. But it's also important to come to the conference to talk to the people who are here to say, okay, what have you tried? And what's working well for you? What have you tried and you think it's not quite ready yet? What have you tried, and let's all stay away from that for a while. And you don't really find that out until you come in person and talk to people hear about what they're experiencing. So for me, that's the thing I always look forward to the most.
And I think that following on your point, right now we're at a crucial moment where everybody's trying something crazy, something new, something weird with these AI capabilities that we are getting. Uh, Again, is what blows your mind. 1 year, 2 years ago was like, okay, there's AI and it's coming, and everybody was just like trying to catch up. 2 years later, I think everybody already has played with AI quite a bit even, and putting crazy things. I never thought like, yeah, what are you trying? What is it? Because I know of very few products that already have it, like truly integrated and something that I feel useful, mind-blowing, groundbreaking, mind-breaking or ground-blowing. No, I was mixing things up.
Yeah.
But have you already heard of something that looks or sounds crazy enough that someone was said like, yeah, I'm doing this with that, or that you would like to start trying?
Well, yeah, we've obviously been trying quite a few things. So, leveraging.
Can you talk about that?
Well,
Is it spoiler?
yeah. So like leveraging Cursor to create playwright tests, for example. That's the thing we've been working with. There are integrations that you can create in order to make the AI software that people are already using more relevant by integrating with your platforms. I think that's one of the really interesting emerging areas that's coming up. And really, I think it's all just gotten a lot more mature. So probably the biggest danger of AI is that it can create a really good-looking result with very little effort. But it's hard to get it from that 80% solution to the 100% solution. And what we've seen, particularly in the last 6 to 12 months, is it's getting a lot closer to the 100% solution than it ever has been. So,
and really fast, right?
yeah.
The progress has been. I'm going to give a small analogy. Nowadays, when I am scrolling on Instagram through my cat videos, and there are some that I'm like, is that really the Pope? Or is AI? Was he really dancing like that? Or was it AI? And it's getting really hard to distinguish. And I think that's the 100% where it's going to be really hard to, like, hey, AI, I think you got to. Because still nowadays you can say like Cursor, you get me like, your code was almost there, but I can see that you have some issues here. It's not as common as it was 1 year ago. And with test results, with test suggestions, analysis, all that, I'm starting to doubt how close are we to just getting to that 100% that you say.
Yeah. So maybe, I think it was about a year to 2 years ago. Just to give you an example, I was generating some cucumber tests using AI. And for those who are familiar with Cucumber, you have the feature file, and then you have the code that sits behind the feature file, which is your step definitions to implement the features. And you're supposed to pass the data in from the feature file into the step definitions. And that's how it makes it so that when you modify the feature, then it's going to change the test. The code that AI was generating at that time was not passing the data in from the feature file into the step definition. And so if you changed, you would get a test that tested what you wanted it to test. It was a valid test. But if anyone changed that feature file in the future, they would have to change the step definition because AI didn't realize that's not how it works.
Not the latest, not.
And so that was just a bug waiting to happen. Like somebody would instantly create a test that they think is perfect, and it was a bug waiting to happen. More and more, we're seeing that you can implement those tests without having issues like that come up. So I think we're much closer than we've ever been. There's still obviously a long way to go.
That long way, it's exponential in the speed that we're getting to it. So I'm not sure when. Silly side question. What's your perspective on the MCPs coming up and the crazy things that now we can do with them?
Yes. So when I was talking about integrations that are possible, for example,
I think that's what
I was hinting at. was trying not to get too specific on it.
Okay, yeah.
But ultimately, my view of MCPs, so it stands for Model Context Protocol, if you haven't heard of it. I think there's a very good chance that that's going to be the replacement for REST APIs. And in a few years' time, 50 to 80% of companies out there are just going to be expected to have their own MCP implementations.
Yeah.
So what an MCP lets you do is it lets you write a server that can then be incorporated into any AI agent that supports MCP. So that's things like Claude, that's things like Cursor.
Yeah.
So now you can decide you want to use Cursor, I can decide I want to use Claude. Testry can provide an MCP server so that you can run your tests directly from your tool of choice. Mm-hmm. You can get insights about your test runs directly from your tool of choice. And that's the kind of stuff that we're seeing hot off the presses
all over
as
the
we
place.
speak.
Yeah. And I think we're going to be getting soon to a tool agnostic place because everything is going to be so interconnected, so transportable. That is going to get interesting.
Yeah, it's almost more like companies are developing skills. They're not developing the user experience anymore.
Yeah.
So we've invested a lot of time and energy into making UIs that look beautiful, interfaces for mobile apps, interfaces for websites. I think that's going to become less and less important as time goes on. And it's going to be more about what's the unique capability your company provides that can then be incorporated into someone's AI tool of choice for the user interface.
Man.
So you might not even go to the Testry website anymore. You might just sit in Cursor. I might sit
will
in
be in the
Claude.
back end, and
Someone else can use some other tool. But ultimately, Testry is still the thing that's orchestrating the tests, actually running them, getting you the results, sending you the alerts.
Wow, crazy.
Yeah.
And so, just not to exceed, I know that we have Chris here. No, I would like to keep talking for hours, and this is a crazy topic. We're talking for a long time, but
this is what the dinners are like, by the way.
Yeah. If you come to a STAR conference or whatever conference, make sure to grab people like Chris, invite them to dinner or join a group dinner because they always happen, and they get crazy, really, really crazy. Especially with AI and generating images. I don't know if you remember some of the crazy adventures that we had. And Chris, now to start to wrap up, any predictions? Anything that you're excited about that is coming or that you think will come?
Yeah. I think that's maybe I'll go there. So this is one that I sometimes hold back because it's kind of my vision for further down the road.
Curious.
I think ultimately with QA, we've been asking the wrong question. So QA used to be all about what's the checklist and does the application meet the requirements on my checklist? If you think about it though, quality assurance is really more of a search problem. Mm-hmm. It's not an execution problem. So ultimately people want to know, is the version of code that's in my pre-production environment better than the version of code that's in production? And if it is, I want to ship it. And so it's a search problem for, can we search through a pre-production version of the code, do a pre-production simulation, leveraging AI, leveraging our organization's business metrics, monitoring for errors and looking for test criteria. And if everything looks good in pre-production, then we want to replace the production version with that. And I think some of the things that have really changed recently that can help drive that forward are things like test orchestration platforms where we can run the tests quickly and reliably at scale, which is what's needed in order to support these large volume simulations. And then I think also artificial intelligence, being able to solve the test authoring problem, is really driving that forward as well. And then ultimately we're going to end up in the situation where it's just, here's my website, here's my normal behavior patterns from production, here's some QA knowledge that I've injected into the process, let's run it all in a simulation and tell me, are there 10 blocking issues? Are there 100 major bugs that we need to work through?
Should I really worry about something? Because there are some others like, yeah, I found some error here. It's not really
Yeah.
green here, but you're good to go. That could be also like an AI assessment, and
Yeah.
I see it. I agree with you, and
Yeah, the triaging the bugs, how many are out there.
the severity of the bugs
Yeah.
as well to judge it, because there are so many that are stopping releases that should maybe not, or as you say, like management decision or developer decision or QA. We are worried about everything, and we would like to stop everything. It's going to get really interesting, as you point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, so Chris, I joked that was not the last question. Last question: how can people get in touch with you, learn more about Testery, and follow up with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can find me on LinkedIn. That's probably the easiest place. Chris Harbert on LinkedIn.
If I did my job well, you'll see his contact in the notes and the access of the video.
Yeah, yeah. If you do reach out and connect with me, just mention StarEast 2025. That'll help me know that that's how you heard about us. And always happy to chat with folks on LinkedIn. You can also go to testery.com, and through there you can contact our company, and then they'll get in touch with me if you need to.
And in testery.com, they can also find this free try that they can play around with it, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. You can just sign up for our growth plan. It's limited in how many hours of testing you can run per month. Obviously, we have to pay the bills like everybody else. So
It's cloud, yeah.
if you went out there and ran 10,000 hours of tests without paying for it,
Yeah, no.
I would have to pay the bill.
The acceptable limit, but go and play with it. Go
Yeah.
and check it. You can start just wandering around and get a feel of the experience. Chris,
Cool.
thank you very much. It has been a pleasure as usual. And well, everybody, there you have it. Our friend Chris from Testery, take a look, please. Every time that there's a free opportunity to try a platform, to try a tool, go for it. So you can add it at the very least to your resume and say like, I know a little bit of Testery, and if needed, you can get in touch. So thank you, amigo.
Great, thank you.
Take care, everybody. Stay tuned, because in a few minutes, we're going to be walking around through the welcome reception for this event. So I am Leandro Melendez with,
Chris Harbert.
thank you very much, and we'll see you later today. Stay tuned. Adios. Bye.
Bye.
Adios. I don't know if the video is already playing. Good? Okay.
Awesome, man.
Thank you very much, amigo.
I really appreciate it.
I hope it went well.
Yeah.
I tried to kind of hit and give the contact, so
Yeah, cool.